Well, hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the trivia questions while we waited for everything to get started. And thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Michael Lee. I'm with SME Solutions Group, and I'm very excited to be hosting the event for you guys today. I just want to take a few minutes. I'm going to run through the agenda, do some quick introductions for you to SME and Vizlib, who's also hosting with us today. And once you get to know us a little bit better, I want to take a few minutes to go through the agenda, some quick introductions, and then what I'll do is I'll hand over to George Barrett, our solutions engineer here at SME Solutions Group, so that he can do the demo for you. So just a couple quick housekeeping items. One, we're going to be recording the meeting so the people that couldn't join the webinar today will be able to see it. And two, make sure that you use the Q&A section down at the bottom throughout the demo, because we'll have people answering your questions live. And we'll also have about 5 minutes at the end to answer any additional questions you have. And if we don't get your question, don't worry, we'll make sure we follow up with you to make sure you get that answer. So SME, what we do. So SME works with a range of industries, but we approach any project. Our goal is to provide sustained user adoption. We want to decrease your time to value and increase your ROI. We work with these goals in mind for all our service offerings, and those service offerings include business intelligence and data analytics. We work with application development and architecture. We do data governance. We help improve the process and data quality. We provide project management and IT testing, and we help enhance self-service analytics. What SME's goal is to help companies make data-driven decisions by assessing, planning, and acting on data. Next slide, please. And how do we do that? So one of the reasons SME has been so successful is because of our strategic partnerships. We form partnerships with great products and companies like Vizlib, but we also ensure we include training with our products to provide user adoption and ROI for our clients. One of our main differentiators is we provide managed service solutions. So we're able to take care of the heavy lifting, like the hosting, the administrating, we do the data movement, and we do this all in a fully secured cloud environment. What we do with our clients is we make sure that their whole data ecosystem flows smoothly and holistically. And one of the things I'm really excited about is our partnership with Vizlib. Vizlib is a leading tech partner. They're value-added product for Qlik. They're feature-rich, they're customizable, and they're fully supported. They offer a robust product family for ad hocing, pixel-perfect reporting. They bring people together, and they help with project management. So Vizlib and SME bring added value to your Qlik Sense environment by helping driving Qlik Sense adoption, improving the agility and speed to get results. We build awesome dashboards. We enable self-service, and Vizlib does this all with a plug-and-play solution. Next slide, please. And how does SME ensure success? The SME team is extremely collaborative. We all share our specific knowledge, and given that our team comes from a variety of industries, it gives us a vast amount of industry experience. For example, we have 70+ years of combined experience in the energy and utility industry alone, which is where we got started, but there are a few things we have found to be consistent across industries, and that's the fact that there's a need to enhance collaboration and relationship between both the IT group and the business users, drive CEO and CSR application development, help organizations increase speed of decision-making, create executive KPIs and automated reporting, and also ensure that data integrity and data availability to everyone. So this will wrap up the intro that I'm doing for SME, and what I want to do now is hand it over to George Barrett, SME Solutions Engineer, to show you the exciting things that Vizlib and SME can bring to your Qlik Sense environment. But just a quick reminder, make sure you use that Q&A at the bottom because we'll be able to answer your questions live. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, George. Take it away.
Thanks, Michael. Okay. All right, so I hope that you all can see my screen, but what I'm going to go through today is I'm going to show you some real-world applications for Vizlib's collaboration platform, as well as how it synergizes really well with all of the Vizlib family of products. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to use an application And we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of a giant software company. So not going to name any names, but what we do is we basically sell a variety of different software products. So everything from CRMs to ERPs, databases, data analytics, applications. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at 5 different use cases that really can be applied to almost any industry and vertical and different teams within all of these companies. So just taking a look at our Qlik Sense app, one of the things that we want to do is we want to look at the sales forecast and profit margin. And obviously it's going up, which is very good. But how do we make that go up? So we're going to go dive into that and see how the data is going to be used to figure out that forecast and make sure that it hits the mark. So I've created an app using the Vizlib sheet menu. So I've got all of the different use cases up here. So get a little sneak peek at what's ahead. But let's dive into the financials. So I'm really going to be talking to a lot about the finance teams and the accounting people on the call and ask them how many of them have built a P&L report and how many of them have enjoyed doing it. And I doubt that a lot of you are actually raising your hand, but that's what I associate with P&L reports. It's usually an Excel manual process. You've got to update the data yourself, maybe some V lookups. And what's worse, next month, next quarter rolls around, you're having to recreate it with new data. It's not automated with your applications, and trying to bring it into Qlik Sense is usually a really big headache. Well, this is where the Vizlib finance report comes in, where we're able to create these dynamic, robust P&L reports where you can have a variety of different metrics, groupings, subgroupings, formatting, and you see that I even got some customizations up here at the top. But what makes this even more valuable to have in Qlik Sense is when you combine it with collaboration. So over here on the right-hand side, we've got this budget adjustments for the Writeback table. And the Vizlib Writeback table allows you to take data that you enter directly into your Qlik Sense applications and write it into the app itself. So over here, we can look at our different rows that we have for our software company. In this case, we're looking at more of the consulting and the licensing aspect of it. But over here, we saw that we have no adjustments for other revenue. Well, I just found out that this company wants to add some object storage into their product portfolio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add 50,000 for object storage. You see here that what Vizlib Writeback is going to do is it's going to give you the ability to track those adjustments. And when I hit Writeback, what this does is it goes to a specific data source. It could be a QVD, it could be a CSV file, and it's going to append that data and then reload the data with that new data inside of the application. So we can see here that under other revenue, we went up an adjustment of 30 grand. So we saw it was real time, as well as we were able to track the budget adjustment history down here, which includes what was the adjustment, the amount, the comment, as well as, and this is very important, who adjusted it and at what time. So you're able to keep kind of like a ledger for it. Now, I think my favorite part about the P&L finance report has yet to be seen, because what happens if I need to bring this out into Excel? Because we all know we can't escape Excel. Well, I can go ahead, right click, export, and I'll export to Excel. And when I go in and bring it up, you see that all of my formatting changes are applied all the way down to the shading of the cells. This is very valuable. It allows you to take those reports outside of Qlik Sense and bring it out to your next meeting whenever you need to. So that's an awesome use case, but we're going to move away from finance. We're actually going to go put on our sales hat because we're going to talk about CRM data. Now, for a CRM, it's usually a good way to track sales, leads, basically opportunities. But usually when you're trying to incorporate them into Qlik Sense, you're having to do a lot of work bouncing back and forth. Something happens and you need to update it in the CRM, then you have to go back and do that. There's a lot of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how you can just update the CRM directly from within Qlik Sense. So right here, I've got a bunch of opportunities. So I'm going to bring up my sales reps, and I'm using the Vizlib custom report so that I can basically create my tables on the fly. I can be an analyzer or professional, doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my opportunities, my opportunity stage. So actually just saw a text message from Roy. So Roy has an update to his opportunity. So I'm going to go in and find him, easily select him. And the message says that he needs to move the Celeste opportunity. So let's go ahead and find her. he says that we're moving into the negotiations, but there's a few things that we need to do. So obviously you just saw that I was able to use the Writeback table to do a drop down as well. I can also extend the close date using the calendar. I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, we need a little bit more time in this case. And he said, because that we need to extend, but we're so close to doing a deal, we're going to need to give a 10% discount. So I can just go into the calculator and type in 0.9 multiplied, done for me. Don't need to have to do the math myself. And he said, we're really close, pushing for end of year, and we're going to give it an opportunity probability of a 5-star. Write back my data, and that's all I have to do. So the great thing about the Writeback table is that you're not only writing back data to your Qlik Sense app, and sure, you can use a QVD or a CSV, but what you can also do is that you can have your data be written back directly to your databases or an API if you have the ability to do that. So as opposed to me having to bounce back and forth from my analytics tool to my CRM, I can do that all right here within Qlik Sense, which I think is a common theme that you're going to see throughout the rest of the demo. All right, so that was another cool example, but take it off the sales hat and we're going to go and find the project manager office because we've got some project planning to do. So I'm sure that everybody has a different way that they manage their products. Some people may use Excel, some people may use specific dedicated project management software. But again, what happens when you're trying to incorporate those applications within Qlik Sense? So this is where we're going to use the Vizlib Gantt chart in combination with the Writeback table, but also another part of the collaboration product, which is the input form. So over here, I've got my Gantt chart that's showing all the different layers of my software project. So I can go in and see my different phases, all of the different tasks and milestones that I have here. And then if I need to update any of them, I have the Writeback table. But Writeback table, so far, it looks like I can only update existing rows. What if I need to add a new task or milestone? Well, that's where the Vizlib input form comes in. The input form allows you to go in and create your own data to add directly into your Qlik Sense applications. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a task. I'm going to call it the design finalization. Let me go find out where design was. I think it was in phase 1. So phase 1, I can choose actually which phase I want to do. In the group, it's going to be in the design group. And I can give it an end date. In this case, we're just going to backdate it a little bit. It's going to say January 31st. Start date was January 28th. We have our ID locked in, so we make sure that we don't overwrite any data. Go ahead and hit submit. It's going to export that data. So there it is, pops up on our Gantt chart. Shows that we're 90% of the way through it, through the start date. But up here now, I have the ability to go into my Writeback table where I can make adjustments. So if I need to move it away from phase 1 into phase 2, if I need to extend my start dates or end dates, I now have the flexibility not only to add new data, but then to change the existing data, which is very useful, again, because I don't have to go back out into a project management tool. We're doing it all right here within inside the Qlik Sense. That's the power of Vizlib collaboration. All right, so this next one is more geared towards my developers or the people who have ever used a bookmark inside of Qlik Sense. Now, don't get me wrong, bookmarks are awesome, but sometimes you want to compare the values of one bookmark to another, and that's impossible, right? Well, not with the Vizlib input form. So right here, I've got a scatter plot that shows all of the industries and verticals that our software company sells to. Now, what if I have a specific group of verticals that I specifically track and I need to do it on a regular basis and compare it to other groups? So down here, you can see I have all my different clusters. I've got my Barrett group, which is my primary group. I've got my ERP targets. But let's go in and let's select a few. So I'm going to do professional services, go ahead and software, and I'll add healthcare as well. So now that I've made these selections, I can go ahead and create a group using the input form. So I'll just say that this is the vertical group, just to keep things simple. And I can go in and now I can add my cluster. It's going to export the data, write it to a QBD. It's going to bring it back in. Now, the thing is that I'm essentially creating new data, a new grouping. I don't have to go back into the data model or have a developer say, hey, I need to create a new group, or have it to do it actually at the source data set. So when I leave my selections, you can now see that in my line chart down here, I'm able to compare my grouping compared to other people's grouping. So I can go into the vertical group. I can, let's say, all right, I want to look at that compared to the ERP targets. And there's multiple ways you can mix and match. But the best part is that I've just created a savable bookmark as data points within my Qlik Sense application. So this is very powerful in just being able to really create new data on the fly. You want to make sure that you're able to get the most out of the data insights that are inside of your application. All right, so for my next example and my final one, I'm going to need a little bit of help from my team. So that involves the Vizlib teamwork part of the collaboration. So let's go ahead and let's check out this sheet. Now, this sheet is a little bit different from everything we've covered so far. It's actually going to have some pretty fancy visualizations on it, all powered by the Vizlib library. And right here, I definitely see a lot of different things that I want to talk about. But you're probably wondering, George, what's this little bubble down here in the bottom right-hand corner? Well, this is Vizlib Teamwork. So think about Vizlib Teamwork as like a Slack or Microsoft Teams for directly within your Qlik Sense applications. So if you click on this, you can see that I've got my little chat icon. I can also embed this as a standalone visualization. And if you have master items in your sheet, you can actually have inline conversations right there within your visualizations. So for this one, I have the customer tier and education analysis, and I've already made a comment on it. Now, the best part about this is that when I make a comment, what it does is it saves when I made the comment. You have the ability to create an inline image for what was happening when I made that certain selection. And you have the ability to reapply the selections just like a bookmark. So you can easily access the data, but you're providing real-time context for any developer so that they can go in and discover what's happening within the data. And if your chain gets a little bit too long, you can go in and search for specific keywords, and it's going to bring those messages back to the forefront. So again, it's just like having Slack or Teams right here within your Qlik Sense applications with a lot more real-time applications for how you're able to communicate with your team. Now, let's go ahead and let's clear these selections and let's see if we can demonstrate this right now within my application. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to select all my countries that are not in the United States. So I'll start by selecting United States, selecting the excluded. And what I want to do is I want to look at, let's do software as a service, huge nowadays. So we're going to go in and look at those customers. And let's just target the customers that are probably newer to our organization. So we're going to go ahead and do the for term. And not sure who saw that, but I definitely saw something. So Germany and Canada for our younger customers are actually more, they're having more sales compared to the United Kingdom and France. So I definitely want to share this with my team members. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to bring up the teamwork icon in the bottom right. Say, hey guys, did you see Germany and Canada, the young SaaS deployments? What do you think? All right, so drum roll. Oh, look at that. We already got Nicole. Nicole's saying that it looks interesting. And look, we're already getting real-time applications through using the teamwork. And Nicole's saying, let's look at the sales margin goals. And it says, Jack, what does Jack say? He's on it. We're actually going to set up a meeting because we found and discovered the insights right here within the applications inside of Qlik Sense. So I know that everybody likes bookmarks. I know that everybody likes sharing them, but usually you have to email it or there's a phone call that has to be made. With teamwork, you're allowed to just keep the real-time context, expedite the process to get to that next meeting, meaning you're going to be able to find your insights just as fast. So that's what I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed and are getting a lot of value out of seeing what Vizlib collaboration, as well as all of its other products, can do. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jonathan.
Thanks, George. I'm always impressed with the stuff that you come up with, George, and really able to just showcase, right, how you're able to take your Qlik Sense environment and push it forward. I wanted to take a step back. So my name is Jonathan Israel. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Vizlib, and we did get a question early on, why are we wearing Hawaiian shirts? So SME has a long-standing history of Hawaiian Shirt Friday, but since it's Wednesday, we're having a little fun. We thought we'd kick it up a notch, but what the guys don't know is I'm going to take it even further since I work with a green screen. So I thought really I'd go to Hawaii, right, George? Just to make everyone, realize that we are doing this live. This isn't recorded, but oftentimes the question I get, guys, is how easy is Vizlib to get started with, right? So we are a plug and play solution. And if I have the ability to share my screen, perhaps. While we're doing this live, you can tell this isn't not recorded. There we go. I'm going to share my screen out here. Let's do this, right? So we make it very easy to get started with Vizlib, right? So you can simply go to vizlib.com, right? You can click on sign in. And if you haven't been to our website before, we make it very easy. You can just simply click get started. We'll ask you for a few questions. And just like that, you're up and running with Vizlib from a free trial. We do give people up to 5 users the ability to try this without having to do any interactions with us at all. So we make that easy. But, the more important thing is, Joe Warbington, one of my colleagues, is on the line, and he comes up with some creative stuff. And we actually have our own demo gallery. So, while you might be used to going to Qlik.com and downloading some of, the demo apps, we actually have our own demo gallery. So you can take some of these, you can pull them apart, see how easy it is to create with things. We are a plug and play solution. So, typically we tell people by the end of the first day, you should have some pretty good apps. Now, George certainly takes it to the next level, but, we make it very easy to get started with us. I really didn't want to spend too much time on this because I think that comes the boring parts. But, guys, wanted to open it up. If there's any questions, I think we've been answering questions kind of live on the fly, right? I really wanted to take a moment and thank you guys from SME for participating with us, right? For bringing your A game as you always do, but really value the partnerships we have, not just here in the United States, but also around the globe. With now just about 700 global enterprise customers as Vizlib, right? We used to call ourselves a startup. Being in business now for just over 4 years, we're really into the scale up business with 82 full-time employees around the globe and a lot of developers. So not going to belabor that anymore. Really appreciate, George, your efforts. Michael, you joining us as well, right? The Hawaiian shirts, George, appreciate the background. I can't quite tell what kind of car you got driving there, but it looks fast. All right, it's tough to tell, right? But let's open it up for questions. See if there's any questions we need to answer live. Let's see. So I see a question. Can I get the Qlik app which you presented now? So George, I don't know if you're holding on to that, but certainly we have a lot of stuff on Vizlib. But George, I'll let you kind of share that information.
Yeah, so I'd be more than happy to kind of share it with you. There's a few things. I mean, with the Writeback table, if you can imagine, there's a lot of QBDs and files that you need to kind of set up with the data connections. But we're more than happy to meet and kind of show what we can share and see if we can get it set up on your end.
Great. Thanks, George. There's been a few questions. We are going to make this recording publicly available once it gets processed. So I'm sure the guys at SME will post it on their site. And then at Vizlib, we'll post it probably on our YouTube channel as well. Yep. Thanks, Joe. Where does Writeback extension actually store the input data? So it can be, stored in a CSV file, a flat file. It can be written right back to the QVD. We've got the capability where you could actually write it back to a database through our REST connector. We have some database connectors coming out directly here shortly as well. Yep, so that answers that question. And then can the input form be used to store variables? Yeah, absolutely. It can be used to store just about anything you could possibly want it to. So one more question coming in here. Is it possible to write back when running on Qlik Sense Business Cloud? Yeah, so right now there's some limitations from the Qlik side that you're not able to do that as of right now. And then from a Snowflake perspective, yeah, we've got a direct connection coming shortly for Snowflake, but again, utilizing the REST API connectors, right? I know we have customers writing back into Salesforce, which is a little different, but there's some creative ways you can write back to Snowflake as it sits right now, but we'll have an easier answer coming very shortly. Okay, and then security rules, absolutely. It's full of security rules in the back end through creatively what we call the Vizlib management console, where you can set up some of those security rules, but then also in the developer tools. So George, let me ask you a question, George, while we're doing this. How long did it take you to create that? What you just showed us?
So honestly, not long. I mean, probably over the course of a day or two. The thing was, I mean, when you work with already like an app that you may have already built out, incorporating existing or like taking the existing stuff like the finance report, the Gantt chart, and adding the Vizlib collaboration aspects of it, really the only thing that you have to do is specify, hey, where's the data coming from? Where do you want the data to go? And easy peasy, it's already set up.
Great. No, George, I appreciate that, right? And that, because that's the question we oftentimes get. And as the sales guy, right, I like to say, well, it's, it's a plug and play solution. You're typically up and running within about 30 minutes. But, you coming from the developer side wanted to understand, right, and help everyone understand how, what kind of effort was needed to get that up and running. So that's great. That's great. Let's see. Yep. So if you want to learn more about, SME Group and the stuff that George has, right? Chris just put in here info@smegroup.com, right? You can go to vizlib.com and get more information about the Vizlib Direct that specifically use the input functionality for resource management purposes. So Joe, I know you're on the line, your camera hidden. I'm not sure I get this one. Gio, my suggestion to you would be to reach out to us at Vizlib, and Joe specifically can probably talk through a lot of that. Joe has a lot of experience while at Qlik and now here at Vizlib in the life science industry, but I'm not sure I get that specifically, Joe.
Yeah, I can take that real quick. That's been a really common use actually for life sciences, is not only clinical trial management, but also some staff and resourcing things, whether it's supplies or actual staff. So yeah, please reach out if you want to see an example of that. And George and the team also have those on hand to demonstrate.
Okay. Great. Well, I see we've got about 2 minutes left. The questions seem to have died down, slowed down. But guys from SME, Michael Lee, George, I really appreciate you guys joining us on this. It's been a fun adventure. Love to see the progress you made very quickly, George, and really just the creativity that you guys bring. Look forward to working with you guys on plenty more of these. With that, I'm happy to give everyone about a minute back to their day before their next meeting, as I know we're all back to back. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and thanks for coming and attending the meeting.